Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to the Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello there, listeners, and welcome to the Social Circus. I'm thrilled to be joining you for another week, and this week I have one of my gorgeous friends, Grace Armstrong, joining me as a special guest. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here, and we will have to mind ourselves because you and I are so chatty. We will have to try and keep ourselves on target. Now, Grace, you and I have known each other for quite a few years because your background was actually in digital marketing. So you're now I'm going to call you an e-commerce mogul because I feel like that's what you are. So tell me a little bit about your journey into, like, you've always been an entrepreneur, but this is your latest passion.
Yes, I don't know if I would call myself a mogul yet because it's very much an up and down journey with e-commerce, especially since I only just hit my first year in my e-commerce business, which is very exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you. But a little bit about me. So I'm a self-taught marketing specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I launched and grew a successful dance events company over the last 10 years. And that's pretty much where I learnt most of my foundations and continue to learn with all the changes that happen in digital marketing,
Yes.
How to grow and improve and connect and build a community all online through social media, paid advertising, Google, all the things that are out there. So I then moved into coaching, and that's where I met you in the ASBAS program that we did together.
Yes.
And that's where I really started to work with other people who had other business structures. So I would call my previous business structure a service-based business, where we supplied a service for a customer, and then we all had to be there at that same time. It wasn't really online per se.
Yes.
So that was where I started working with lots of other different businesses, business structures. And that's when I got a little bit of a taste of e-commerce businesses through some of my amazing clients that I was able to help. And that's when I started thinking, I think I can do this. Like, I actually think that I could run an online business, and I have the background in running a business. I know it's service-based, so it's very different, but having the digital marketing background also helped me have a little bit more confidence in myself, thinking I could do this. So I then had to relocate to Singapore for my husband's work in 2021. I always forget the years because
I was thinking, was it only then?
It feels like 3 years have been stolen.
It does.
But yeah, so when was that? Last year?
I know, so we had to convert to like Zoom drinks with you rather than in real life.
Yes, that was just crazy. So yes, relocated, and that's when I stopped coaching. I still had my dance events company running just in Australia. It was hit really hard because we mainly service the wedding industry. So we went through a few very rocky years during the pandemic. And that was when I started educating and really diving into the world of e-commerce. And lucky enough, I came across the founder course, and Greta Van Riel, I think that's her name. She's wonderful, and she teaches that course called Start and Scale. Because essentially I was like, if I could just have someone's roadmap, someone's little black book, that would be great, because I didn't have that with my first business. And it was a real struggle, but it was the best struggle I could have gone through because I learned so much that I was then able to help others with. And I found the course, I did a bit of research around it, and then I realized, this is literally her little black book. Like, she just tells you step by step
what you wanted.
Exactly what I wanted. And she's done this 5 times over. Like, she's built multiple successful e-commerce businesses. So she knows what she's talking about. The course is also not that expensive for what you get out of it. And I started that in Singapore again because I wasn't really working. My husband was working over there. I had some spare time. And that's kind of where the journey all started for me.
Wow. And you are really underselling the journey, but I know that you did the founder course, and I'll pop that link in the show notes so people can have a look at that, because I've referred quite a few of my clients to that founder course and they've all raved about it. And
Yeah.
quite often with online courses, we're at the mercy of their brilliant marketing.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all good at that. But this one is one that I feel really confident knowing that you've loved it and that I've had other clients go through it and they have loved it. So I'll make sure I put that link in the show notes. But talk to me a little bit about when you started your business Begin to Arrive. Maybe explain to the listeners what the products are and what you do.
Yeah, so Begin to Arrive is what I call smart, simplified aromatherapy. So I'm someone that never really dived into aromatherapy, mainly because I just felt like it was in the too hard basket. Like I'd seen friends and my mum have all these different lotions, potions, oils, and they had to blend them all together, and they had all these different diffusers. And I mean, obviously it smelt amazing and they really loved it. But for me, I had a busy schedule. It just wasn't something that I thought I could dedicate my time to. But when I was in Singapore, I mean, I guess I must reference that I'm obsessed with my surroundings. I'm obsessed with my home, the aesthetic of my home, the way it smells, because I work from home. These are things that
Yes.
are really important to me. So I was always obsessed with how my home smelt, how I presented my home. That's just a fundamental thing about me. So when I was in Singapore, we went from living in a big, 4x2 home in Australia with lots of fresh air to living into a small 2x1 apartment in Singapore. And I struggled with regulating the smell in there because of the humidity. The air cons were on and off, the drainage systems, like the bin chutes. There was just so much going on. And it really affected me because I was at home a lot. And so I went that's when I went searching for diffusers, oils, candles, all different things. Only problem is in Singapore, candles are actually very expensive, like everything else. But in particular, candles are very expensive. And I don't like to use synthetic fragrances if I don't have to.
Yes.
So when I was looking, it was always the synthetic fragrances in the cheaper candles. And that was not something that I really wanted to have going in my house 24/7. Plus, my mother has made me terrified of candles. So I can't really function in my home when I have a candle on because I feel like I'm always going to burn down the house, and it's just like this stress
Must be
thing.
that generation. I'm the same. I'm like,
Honestly,
I can't even leave the room with one lit. It's like, is someone in the
man.
room? If I walk out, can someone watch the candle? Like,
And also the stories I've heard from people that don't have that mentality, that fear mentality around candles, like they've almost burned their house down by Christmas trees, and their like bedroom, something's gone on, like clothes have like lit a light in their bedroom and stuff. So anyway, I'm just terrified of candles, and synthetic fragrances. So I then started looking for diffusers and oils, and again, I couldn't really find a lot of natural oils and fragrances in Singapore. At the same time, I had started the Start and Scale course, and they kind of help you come up with the idea or come up with what you want to sell, because I had no idea what I wanted to sell. I just knew I wanted to run an e-commerce business. And I was fiddling between candles and diffusers and oils and all these different things. And I'm like, why is there not a diffuser out there that I can just literally plug a bottle of pure essential oil into that looks like a candle, smells as good as a candle, but isn't a candle? I was like, why does this thing not exist? And then it was from a real pain point of mine that I was like, why don't I make this thing exist?
yay! I love that.
Yeah, so from something that I didn't really have a lot of background in, but I'm really passionate about in terms of the smells and aromas in my home, I then went about finding if this thing already did exist, the thing being now the Aura diffuser that I sell. And yeah, that was kind of where it all started with Begin to Arrive.
I love it. So Honestly, it's so exciting to hear that you've solved a problem, because the diffusers are beautiful. So for the audience, if you want to check out Begin to Arrive, check out the show notes. But they're beautiful diffusers that don't have to have power attached to them, that you can buy essential oil blends from Grace's company, and they go in there and you just walk away and you don't have to have any expertise or be a trained aromatherapist.
Yes,
I love
exactly. and that was another thing we did. I was like, I don't want singular bottles of oil. I just want blends. I want perfectly blended, 100% pure oils that are just ready to screw onto my diffuser, pop in, turn on. Like, I just wanted to simplify the whole process and give the customer the best on the market, the best diffuser on the market, the best oils on the market. I went about making that all happen from my kitchen in Singapore.
Love it. So fast forward, because now you've been in business 12 months. The concept is genius. Like the Aura diffuser, the blended oils, it's a beautiful, beautiful concept. It makes for a beautiful e-commerce experience. So talk to me, because I meet so many people that are starting an e-commerce journey. And I always get really anxious when people say, oh, I've started an e-commerce, I've got a website. I'm like, what else? So you've obviously built, and I know you said that there are, it is a roller coaster running an e-commerce like any business, but you've certainly had some wonderful successes in your business. And I wanted to talk a little bit about these, because of course, a big chunk of your success comes from the fact that you're very confident with digital marketing. And so let's talk a little bit about what marketing have you done with your Begin to Arrive biz.
Yeah, so for sure. The course I did focuses a lot around having an organic audience already there to launch to, which again, that's something that maybe was possible and worked, say, 5 to 10 years ago. Because that's what I successfully did with my first business. But building up an organic audience now, say on Instagram, I'm talking like thousands of followers to then launch your business to, that's not really as attainable or as easy as it once was.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I know the piece of the puzzle that's missing, which is paid advertising, paid marketing. So we're talking Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube, TikTok, all those kinds of things. So that is, I knew that when I was launching my business that I physically could not run the whole business myself and run my own paid marketing. So I decided to search for the best agencies out there that I could find, try to get references from other businesses that had used them, and so that I could launch. And I set aside a budget as well, because hello, you need money to pay the agency, to pay the ads. And that's how I launched my business into the world. I launched it into the world with only I think I had 200 followers on Instagram and maybe 30 email signups on my email list, which was mainly just family and friends.
And testing the system.
I did not have a huge audience to launch to, but I knew that if I could tap into the wider audience via paid advertising, that is where I could potentially start to see sales coming in on a more consistent basis. So that's how I launched the business. Brilliant. With a marketing agency. Yeah.
Wonderful. And it makes my heart sing when you talk about marketing agencies, because I teach Facebook ads and I love teaching them, but teaching Facebook ads for e-commerce businesses is quite distinct from lead generation in a service-based business. And I run a lot of Facebook ads in my own business, but I love it and I'm a total nerd and love spending time playing with them. And for most e-commerce businesses, they are passionate about the product they've created, and usually their knowledge about marketing, particularly digital marketing, is really light on. So I always push my clients towards agencies because I think they do, if you get a good one, do a really great job. So I know that you've had a couple of changes of the guard with your agencies. So talk to me about what can we expect from a digital agency? Like, how does it work and what kind of results can we hopefully expect to get after what time?
So I will try and answer that question because they're all so unique and they all have different offerings. But in my personal opinion, if you are going to pay a marketing agency for their service, these are the things that you should be getting from them. You should be getting them to cut and create your content. Yes, you can supply them. You have to supply them with a digital library of photos and videos, but they should be willing to elevate that content for you, because that's what they're meant to be the best at doing. So cutting up the photos, putting text over the photos, turning them into GIFs, videos, whatever it is that they feel that's needed for the particular campaign. So number one, it's content creation. Number two is really good campaign structures. So campaign structures is mainly for Facebook advertising, which also covers Instagram advertising. So in terms of hooks, like for them to really understand your brand and the selling points of your brand, and then to put it into a campaign that's going to convert. Because at the end of the day, with Facebook ads, and especially with e-commerce ads, it's all about I've just forgotten because there's so many different variations. But is it the cost per acquisition?
Yes.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes, it is.
Or cost per conversion. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, don't apologise, because both of those, cost per acquisition and cost per conversion, both exist inside Facebook campaigns. And so, and different agencies reference different costs. And there's lots of different measures that, like you say, they all become obsessed with. So don't stress about that.
Yes, either one of the CPC, CPA, but mainly the cost per
conversion is normally what we want.
That's the one that you want to work on, because it really is all about that ROAS. Return on investment, how much you're spending as to how much you're getting back. And you need to, as the business owner, watch that like a hawk. You need to understand, like go to one of Sarah's courses just to understand the foundation level of ads, so that you shouldn't be taking on an agency if you have no idea what an ad is, how it works, what you're meant to be looking at, because it's almost like your money will just be flying out the door.
Yes. And
in
also,
a way.
Remember, we're all marketing experts, so we're really great at telling you we're really great.
Exactly. And like they can tell you whatever you want to hear, but it's all about, this at the end of the day, okay, how much is this actually making me? Because was it even worth me running that campaign, or should I have just gone out the backyard and burnt all that money?
Definitely. And I think one of the interesting things is that people often, and I'm so glad you said this, Grace, and say absolve themselves from responsibility. The agency's doing everything and that's fine. But you as the owner should look at their reports. You should ask them to explain their reports. You should be involved so that you feel confident that you're not just being, remember that those agencies all have great account managers. I used to be one of them. And we said, do we tell you everything you want to hear? No, and so,
sorry.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we're a little bit across what's going on.
100%. I don't give anyone in both of my businesses. I've never employed or paid someone to do something that I first don't have a foundation level of understanding. Like I need to understand that to a degree, and I'll do as much research as possible so that I can be in that conversation and with confidence. In questioning, always question if you don't understand, because you have to remember, like, you're paying them. Like they should be doing everything in their power to answer all your questions, make sure they're getting you the results, tweaking what needs to be tweaked, improving, and the data's all there. So it's not like we're just going in blind. Like you see which ones are working, you then recreate the copy, the content, you improve, you tweak, you go into different audiences, you try different things. But I definitely think it's important to really understand, Facebook advertising before you go and pay thousands of dollars with an agency to just do it for you.
Such sage advice, Grace, and I completely agree with it, because if we don't get up close and personal with our money and our numbers, it's really easy to be not profitable, and that's not what any of us want. We all want really successful, thriving e-commerce businesses.
100%.
Oh, so you've just gone through a rocky journey of changing agencies. And so probably based on your brilliant knowledge of numbers.
Well, I don't know no, yes. So I used to be the kind of person that would always say, I'm not good with numbers. I don't know numbers. But at the end of the day, I've now realized I've learnt my lesson, I would say somewhat the hard way over the year, is that e-commerce is all numbers. It all comes down to the dollars, how much you're paying for the product, how much it costs for you to ship the product to Australia, how much it costs for you to fulfill your orders to then ship it to your customer, how much is it costing you per purchase in terms of, you know, how much you're paying on Facebook just to get someone to buy from you. It really does all come down to numbers. And I have a brilliant business mentor who just said to me, you've got to stop saying that because you are good with numbers. Yes. And you need to own that and get better at that, because that's what it all comes down to. And it's all about, you know, at the end of the day, is there profit coming in? That's what it all comes down to. So I've done a bit of a shift in the last 3 months where I've changed my mindset, and finally, for the first time in my life, and I'm just about to turn 30, I'm telling myself I am good with numbers. Yay. And the only reason why, thank you, the only reason why I came up with this whole idea that I wasn't is just because I wasn't good at maths in high school. And I was told that I wasn't good with numbers. But then here I am running a 6-figure business after 12 months. Yay. I must be good with numbers.
Yay! That's so cool. And you know, it's something I told myself as well, because I was a failed accountant. I had started my degree being an accountant and I moved to marketing, and so that left me with this mindset that I actually wasn't good enough to be an accountant. And then over the years I've realized that actually I love numbers and I love spreadsheets and I love knowing if things are making money, and I love that aspect of my business. And I now I always say I'm not good at maths, because I'm not, but I'm good at numbers. And so that's why, thank goodness, we live in a world where I get to carry a calculator in my pocket.
I didn't know that about you. That's amazing. I always say you didn't fail, you failed forward.
I love that.
Into your purpose, which is marketing and helping.
Oh, definitely. Oh, this is what I was meant to do. 100%. I agree. Yeah. And luckily my mum was kind enough to let me do that when I was at uni, and break her heart not being an accountant. Yes. I'm a failed accountant. So awesome. Look, I could talk to you all day, Grace, because it's such an interesting journey in e-commerce. But thank you for sharing some of your wisdom and insights. It's so interesting to hear where your journey has gone. And I'm certain we'll probably have you back another time to dive into more aspects of it. But if we can leave everyone with one little tip, for particularly if they've got an e-commerce business, what would your one piece of advice be?
It would be, I would say, understand, I think it's called your COGS, me and these abbreviations.
Cost of goods sold?
Yes, cost of goods sold, understanding your cost of goods sold before you launch and not undervaluing your product. I mean, it's not even a matter of undervaluing your product. It's actually just making sure, I would say in today's world on e-commerce, that you're above a 60% profit margin on your cost of goods sold. Again, in the course, they reference between 30 and 60%, but I'm calling bullshit because I'm telling you. And
also because ads are quite expensive. You need that margin.
Ads have changed drastically in the last few years. Like, it is insane. The whole world of e-commerce is just changing and shifting so quickly. And the only way you could really survive is if you have that higher percentage. And it sounds a bit crazy, but it's literally what you need to do business and to deliver the best you can to your customer. So I would say anywhere above a 60% profit margin on your COGS is what you need.
Yes, I love that. I think that's a really, really good advice. And if you're not sure what cost of goods is, Google it, COGS, because it's actually your like your income less your cost of goods, which is what does it cost you to get that product out, and that's your gross profit. So there's the accountant helping you out there.
There we go.
Oh, look, Grace, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for generously sharing the good and the bad about e-commerce. And I will make sure it's in the show notes where you can all connect with Grace, but she does have a super easy website. Far away, Gorge.
Yeah. So it's just begintoarrive.com. That's it, begintoarrive.com. And you can also find us at Begin to Arrive on all the social platforms. And you can follow me if you want to at grace.may, May with an E, .Armstrong.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. I'm so grateful for your wisdom and sharing so kindly today. And thank you again to all my listeners. It's been gorgeous to have you join me for another episode of The Social Circus. I look forward to tuning in with you the same time next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favourite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.